Coach, obvious storyline this week, 30th anniversary of the play. Is it a chore not to get caught up in that emotion, or are you guys kind of maybe feeding off that emotion?
We will later in the week. It's a little too early right now. The players were really excited to practice today, and I'm sure they will be tomorrow. But you can't ride a high every single day all week long, but it will build as the week goes on, and all the tradition and all the history and all that is really important. Most guys on the team understand that, what the big game's all about, but there are quite a few young guys and freshmen that don't really understand. It's like when we played UCLA, some guys on the team didn't know who Joe Roth was because they're freshmen, so every year there's always a history lesson that goes into the big game and make sure everybody appreciate what it stands for and all the other people who've run through that tunnel to play it.
Jeff, when you talk about defending Stanford's offense and what the priority is, it looked like Washington and Notre Dame kind of gave everybody a blueprint for maybe how to approach it. How important is it to try to stop that run, and how well do you think you match up there?
Well, there's no doubt about it. They lead with the run. They're a power run game. They're very patient with it. They don't give up on it. And, and their defense plays extremely well, which allows them to stay patient with the run game. And so it's going to be a physical football game, as it always is. They're physical up front. Their backs run really hard. They get a lot of different formations to be able to run the ball with big people. But as soon as you think you're going to get in there and stop the run, then there goes the play action with the tight end. So it's key that we stay disciplined with our eyes, but that we're physical at the point of attack and we tackle well.
Hey, Coach, since you've been a part of this rivalry, just curious what memories stick out in your mind, whether on the field or off the field during the week?
I don't know. There's been a lot. 11th won, so there's been a lot of great memories. I think one of the best would be the very first one, because Cal hadn't won it in a long time, and so that was an exciting, and for that team, because that's the year that the team couldn't go to a bowl game even though we were eligible, so that was our last game, and I just remember, and sometimes when I walk by and I see the pictures on the wall of Kyle Bowler being carried off the field and the goalpost coming down and all that type of stuff, it was a great environment. And so I think that will be a memory, both of the big game and just a Memorial Stadium environment that was really special.
Coach, you mentioned earlier it's all about who you're playing, the defense you're playing. The past two defenses have been ranking in 57th and 76th in run defense. Stanford is physical. They're ranked number 7 in the country. And, yeah, you guys ripped off over 500 yards against those previous two teams. What do you guys have to do better against a really physical front?
Well, you're not going to run through these guys. You're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to run hard. We're going to have to sustain blocks. No one just runs up and down the field on these guys. They're very physical. They have a very good scheme. A lot of seniors, very experienced group. And so, but you can't abandon it either, So it's going to be a physical game. And as they're patient with their run, we're going to need to be patient with our run as well. And you're going to make some, and sometimes they're going to make their plays, because they're very experienced and they're big and they're physical and they're very good at stopping the run. And so they're very good as a whole defensively. So it's going to be hard work. It's going to have to be a physical football game. We're going to have to break some tackles here and there.
How about the two quarterbacks? Zach seems to have settled in, had a couple of great games, and then if you would talk a little bit about Josh Nunez, who's also kind of new to the scene.
Yeah, well, Josh is very capable. He's a great young man. He's highly competitive. I was really impressed with his Arizona game to be able to keep bringing them back like he did. So he's a very good player, and he has a good group of guys around him. Zach has been playing well. He's managed the game well, and really for the most part this season, when we've been able to protect him, he's played really well. And so it comes down to being able to give him a chance to set his feet, not have to hurry things. That's the key, really with it. And so it's going to be very important that we're able to protect him, as any quarterback needs. But he's been efficient with what he's been doing, and it's going to take another really good performance on Saturday.
You did see your offensive line was playing better than it has all season. They finally getting into a nice cohesive unit.
Yeah, you have a lot of inexperience up there. There's only one guy up there who's ever played before, and that's a center. And so as they've grown, I think they've improved. I think Coach Mahalchuk's done a nice job of bringing them along. And you have to look at all the other guys around it, the tight ends. When you look at everything that goes into run blocking and pass protection, it's a lot of guys there. And so the line and the tight ends been out quite a bit with injury, and so they're new as well. But I think they've worked together well and have done a good job. We're going to get a true test this weekend, because you're not going to play many better fronts or defenses than this group.
You mentioned newness in the game against Arizona. Obviously, he had terrific numbers and brought them back. There's been some other games where he hasn't been as effective. Is there a common thread there with what you want to try to do against him to throw him off his game?
I don't know. It's important always, as any quarterback, to try to get some pressure on him, not let him. But they haven't been sacked. I think they've only been sacked 6 times all year. So they do a good job of protecting him, and he does a good job of getting rid of the ball. So it's hard to get to him. But you like to try to put, as any team, not just him or them, but as any team, you try to get some. You can't let the quarterback have all day to throw the ball. So got to make sure that we're covering and that we're trying to get some pressure on him.
Is it a different kind of offense to defend because they really rely on their tight ends so much more than their wideouts? The wideouts have not been productive for them.
Yeah, it's not that they're not capable. Anyone's capable on their team to make big plays, but yeah, they're different offenses. That's the thing about this conference. You go from a 2-back set at USC to a spread of Arizona State and Washington State and UCLA, and now you're back to a big, heavy, downhill run game with play action pass. So it is different, there's no doubt, of the teams that we've been playing over the last few weeks.
You referenced earlier Avery Sebastian. He knocked 2 Washington State players out of the game on Saturday. Has he always had that quality? You always know he really brings a physical nature to the safety.
Yeah, he flies around. There's no doubt about it that Avery is a very competitive guy. He runs with the ball really well, and so it's nice to see that he's brought some aggression there and running the alleys and making tackles and doing things. He really hustles. I mean, you watch him run around the field. He's always running. He gives great effort, and so it's been a nice addition to have him out there.
How's Mark Anthony?
Mark Anthony's fine.
Throughout the game, reasonably healthy?
Yeah,
See his
yeah, yeah. I mean, what are we in? We're in our 8th game of the year with no bye, and we played a lot of physical, tough games. So, there's going to be bumps and bruises and soreness, and so, we got home at 5 o'clock in the morning from Washington State, and so I gave him Sunday off to be able to recover a little bit and just get treatment and get some rest so that we can be ready to practice today.
How was today's practice?
It was great.
Any further questions?
Are you managing practice and you go forward without a bye? Are you managing, other than giving Sunday off, any differently than you would because you have to?
Well, the only reason we gave him Sunday off this week was because we got home at 5 in the morning. So it was a long trip, and to turn around and have to bring him back here in the afternoon, just felt like they needed to get some rest. And but as far as practice is concerned, as the season goes on, yeah, we're shortening some of the periods and some of the individual work that we've been doing all year long, making sure that we're getting the things that are needed, but trying to get them off their feet a little bit, not bang them so much at this time of the year. It's, there has been no break, and like I said, they've all been physical football games, and so, just trying to cut back a little bit so that they can stay fresh and ready for the game, not leave it on the practice field, but make sure we're ready to take it to the game.
Do you feel your defensive line will be, you'll have nearly everyone available?
As of today, tomorrow's a whole new day. You never know.
Last week you were able to kind of stretch the edge a little bit, maybe run away from long. Stanford has guys on both sides, on both the onside edges that can do some damage. Does that put more importance on running between the tackles and the A and B gap?
Well, they're pretty physical inside too. There's really there's no softness in that defense. Their linebackers are very experienced, and there is no softness in the defense. We're going to have to block them, and we're going to have to run through some tackles, and we're going to have to be physical and protect the football. And it's going to be a physical football game.
30 years ago, did you think it was a legitimate touchdown?
Excuse me?
30 years ago, the play, did you think it was
Oh, the play? Of course it was a legitimate touchdown. What kind of question is that? And my buddy Kevin Mullen, we played in the Shrine game together, and that's how I watched the game, because we played in the Shrine game together in high school, and so I was sitting in a hotel in Vegas getting ready to play UNLV, and I noticed the Cal game was on, so I was just waiting for our game, so I was watching it, and all of a sudden I want to see what Kevin was doing, right? And there he goes and scores probably the most famous play in college football history. So it was pretty cool to watch him do that.
You taught him all that in the Shrine game?
Excuse me?
You taught him all that stuff?
No, not at all. He was on defense and I was on offense, obviously, but that's where we met and became friends, at the Shrine game.
Watching that play live, what was your reaction? Watching the TV later?
Well, it was just kind of wow. It's you couldn't really figure out what was going on. So there was a lot of things about that game, because Elway was in that Shrine game with us. He was a quarterback for the North, and I was a quarterback for the South, and so was seeing him and seeing Kevin, and so seeing Kevin go in for the touchdown was really exciting. But at that point, you never really knew, what kind of impact or what kind of history that had made, and I think it's been voted, at least the things I've seen, as the most famous play in college football. So pretty cool that Kevin was a part of it.
What year was that event for the Shrine game?
That was in 1979.
The North-South Shrine?
Yeah,
And being played at, was it
it was in the Rose Bowl.
Who won that game?
Well, Elway was playing quarterback for them, and I was playing quarterback for me. So for us, so you could probably figure that out. He ran no huddle offense up and down the field, and I think almost broke Ferragamo's record.
And you just happened to,
Oh, it just happened to be there. Yeah.
Well, last thing that goes to me, dude, so when you and Kevin finally talked about that play, and he runs over the band guy and all that, did he have any funny reaction to you about it?
No, actually, I hadn't talked to him about it, because I had a game that night, and then, so really, I think the first time that I had the chance to come in contact with him again is when I got to Cal, and so as he was around here and had a chance to bump into him again. We played on the same team. It wasn't like we were, we called each other on the phone every week, but it was, we just knew each other. And so it was exciting when I got to Cal, to bump into Kevin for the first time. I thought, and be able to reminisce about not only the game, but also, of course, the the prominence of that play. The play.